So I was thinking, how do I do this video? Would it be hugely edited with amazing graphics and live action segments? No. It's just going to be me sitting here and talking about the game and showing you why it's one of the best games ever made. Because that's what it is. Driver was originally released in 1999 for the PlayStation and PC. It was published by Infogrames, who later was bought out by Ubisoft, and developed by Reflections, who were also bought by Ubisoft. Wow, Ubisoft are really greedy. This actually was the third game I ever owned for the PlayStation after Tomb Raider and Dino Crisis, and it was by far my most played. At the time of the game's release, World's Scariest Police Chase videos was on TV and I was absolutely hooked. Also, I had just recently watched Vanishing Point and had knowledge of Bullet and French Connection, which was impressive for an 8-year-old. Yeah, I was a cool kid. The game had multiple modes, including Campaign and Take a Ride, which was my most played, especially with cheats. It's a sign you play a game too much when you can remember the invincibility cheat 16 years later. I have no life. The opening mission of the campaign mode is the tutorial level, and the tutorial level is by far the most hard mission in any video game ever, and no one ever passed it. In the whole 16 years that I've owned this game, I've only ever completed it 3 times. Whoa, past Jamie Gray. Now actually, while recording footage for this very review, I actually did it again. Now, here's a photograph of me doing it. Brilliant. Fun fact, did you know that the game was loosely based on the 70s film The Driver, which featured a parking lot scene and most of the crash sound effects are from that movie? The Take a Drive mode has 4 open world cities: San Francisco, my favourite, Miami, my second favourite, LA, never got there, and New York, still never got there because I couldn't complete the tutorial mission. God dang it. Driving mechanics are very advanced for the time, and the cars feel weighty and handle beautifully if you know what you're doing. For that more cinematic feel, they added a fully functional film editor and burnout button that sent your car screaming forward, leaving a cloud behind you. Just never use it if you're going around a corner because you will spin out. One of the negatives of the game for me was that the cops are really quite brutal and can never be outrun in a straight line. Even though in the manual it says that they can. It's a lie. One of my favourite glitches occurs if your car is thrown onto its side or if you land on a cop while going over a jump. This glitch will either launch your car into the air or send you flying downwards into the abyss, which is freaking hilarious. Visually the game is okay. Technically it's freaking revolutionary. It was the first major game to have a living open world from the perspective of behind the car, beating GTA 3 by 2 years. Driver 2 even had the ability to get out of the car a year later, even if Tanner did walk like a duck. Since its release, Driver has had 5 main sequels. Driver 2, probably my least favourite, as I was still hooked on 1 for years after it was released. Driver 3, which is oddly enough my second favourite due to the fantastic handling and large and varied maps. Driver Parallel Lines, which briefly moved away from the protagonist of Tanner and was more focused on TK, or the Kid, is worth checking out, as the 2-time period dynamic between the 1978 and the 2006 in New York was really interesting, although the Driver was simplified and made more arcadey, which kinda sucked. Driver 76, a portable Parallel Lines. Definitely recommend it for the PSP. And lastly, Driver San Francisco, which was released in 2011. It introduced branded vehicles and the exclusion of on-foot sections and followed Tanner in what can only be explained as an Life on Mars-inspired coma-fueled plot. To say Driver 1 shaped my childhood would be an absolute understatement. It shaped my entire life. The chases I do on YouTube were inspired hugely by those endless weekends and evenings after school that I just sat there and ran from the cops trying to beat my best time. Do I recommend Driver 1? Yes. It's simply one of the best games ever made, and I cannot wait for Driver 5.